Something strange is happening in American dealerships right now. Riders walking in for a Harley are walking out with something built in Osaka, Hinckley, Berlin, or Chennai. 6 machines are doing the damage, and the one at number 1 costs less than the cheapest bike Harley sells. Number 6. Kawasaki Eliminator 500, $6,499. That's where this whole story begins. For that money, you get a 451cc parallel twin producing around 51 horsepower. On paper, that doesn't sound especially exciting. In the real world, it means a cruiser weighing about 388 pounds, with a seat height of under 29 inches. For a rider who's 5 feet 4 inches tall, that means planting both feet flat on the ground at a red light instead of nervously balancing on tiptoes, and that's something far more riders experience than they'll ever admit. Ride the Eliminator through a city, and its personality becomes obvious almost immediately. It steers naturally from your hips. It never feels heavy, it never feels intimidating. Even slow-speed maneuvers around a petrol station forecourt feel completely effortless. Here's something most reviewers never mention. Accidentally pull away in second gear, and the engine barely notices. It simply gets on with the job. Now for the downside, that lively little parallel twin is brilliant below 50 miles an hour. But once you're cruising above 75, it becomes noticeably busy. Long motorway journeys simply aren't what this motorcycle was designed for. If your daily commute includes 40 miles of interstate, you'll feel every single mile. Would I still recommend it? Absolutely, because Harley Davidson's least expensive cruiser, the Nightster, starts at around $9,999. That's roughly $3,500 more than, and around 150 additional pounds before you've added a single accessory. For a brand new rider in 2026, the Kawasaki Eliminator is the honest answer Harley Davidson stopped offering the day the Street 500 disappeared. If you've spent time riding one, let us know in the comments below. Now, if the Eliminator is the sensible choice, the next motorcycle is driven almost entirely by emotion. Number 5. Royal Enfield Classic 650. A rider I follow bought one of these back in March, then rode it 400 miles home from the dealership. His only complaint? How many people stopped him at petrol stations to ask what year it was. That happens constantly with this motorcycle, because the proportions feel authentic in a way many modern retro motorcycles simply don't. Deep valanced fenders, spoked wheels, hand-painted gold pinstriping across every fuel tank, and polished engine cases surrounding an air and oil-cooled 648cc parallel twin with genuine cooling fins. The price? $7,499. Now compare that with a Triumph Bonneville T100, starting at around $11,495. The Triumph makes more power. There's no argument about that. But park the two motorcycles beside each other, Zelmaid, then ask 10 strangers which one looks older, and which one looks more expensive more often than not. The Royal Enfield comes out ahead. That's probably not the result Triumph would hope for. Of course, the romance has its limits. Push the classic 650 hard through a series of fast corners, and its personality quickly becomes clear. This is a heavy motorcycle for its size. It weighs well over 530 pounds. It uses a single front brake disc, and the suspension offers very little adjustment. Throw it aggressively into a fast sweeping bend, and the motorcycle politely suggests slowing down to around 45 miles an hour and simply enjoying the scenery. That's not a flaw. That's exactly what it was designed to do. Here's my honest opinion. This is the motorcycle you buy when you want genuine character, without signing up for a $15,000 payment. You also get a 3-year unlimited mile warranty, a growing dealer network, and replacement parts that often cost less than accessories for many premium cruisers. The Classic 650 earned its place on this list because it challenges one thing Harley Davidson long believed nobody else could truly sell: heritage. And if you're enjoying this breakdown so far, don't forget to hit the like button. It genuinely helps the channel grow. Number 4. BMW R12 95 horsepower, 1,170 cubic centimeters of air and oil-cooled boxer twin. Shaft drive. Those three specifications explain almost everything about the way this motorcycle behaves on the road. Boxer torque arrives low and stays remarkably flat. Roll on the throttle at 2,000 revolutions per minute in top gear, and the motorcycle simply gathers speed. No drama, no frantic downshifting, just effortless acceleration. Then there's the shaft drive. No chain to lubricate, no belt to tension. You wash the motorcycle, and you ride it over 15 years of ownership. That can add up to real money saved. And a lot of Saturdays you get back, pricing starts at $13,145. Add roughly another $1,000 for the destination charge. That's still around $2,900 less than a Harley Davidson Sportster S at $15,999. And that's where the comparison becomes interesting. The Harley produces around 121 horsepower in a straight-line acceleration run. It will pull away from the BMW every single time. No argument. But 60,000 miles later, the R12 should still be a wonderfully composed motorcycle with relatively little fuss. Now for the weakness, you'll notice it the moment you sit down. The riding position is compact, the seat is thin, and passenger accommodation feels almost like an afterthought. Serious two-up touring? That's not really what this motorcycle wants to do. Regardless of what the brochure might suggest, then there's what you might call the German options tax. Start ticking boxes on BMW's options list, and that $13,000 motorcycle can quickly climb beyond $16,000. At that point, you may start questioning some of those choices. Would I buy one? In Gravity Blue? Yes, absolutely, and I'd probably regret that decision about once a month during a particularly long day in the saddle. But the R12 deserves its place here for one important reason. BMW built a cruiser that doesn't apologize for being a cruiser, and priced it below the Sportster S while doing it. That was Germany's answer. The next motorcycle is Britain's answer, and it might be the most direct shot anyone has taken at a Harley Davidson Softail in years. Number 3, Triumph Bonneville Speedmaster. Park it beside a Harley Davidson Street Bob, and the comparison almost writes itself. Harley Davidson gives you the Milwaukee 8 117/98 horsepower, 120 pound-feet of torque, and a badge that's recognized at virtually every petrol station across America. Triumph answers with a 1,200 cubic centimeters Bonneville twin, 77 horsepower, 78 pound-feet of torque. And that torque arrives at just 4,000 revolutions per minute. Out on a real road, that difference matters far less than the specification sheet would have you believe. Because the Speedmaster weighs less, turns in more willingly, and changes direction with noticeably less effort. 78 pound-feet of torque delivered low in the rev range is more than enough to move a cruiser with confidence. For 2026, the Bonneville Speedmaster starts at $14,795. That places it almost directly alongside Harley Davidson's most affordable Softail. And Triumph gives you quite a bit for the money. Cruise control comes as standard. Lean-sensitive cornering ABS, lean-sensitive traction control, a larger 3.7-gallon fuel tank, lighter aluminum wheels, and wider seats for both rider and passenger. Something owners had been requesting ever since the model first arrived, now for the honest criticism. Those electronic upgrades are certainly welcome, but very few riders were crashing Speedmasters because they lacked cornering ABS. As model year updates go, this one feels fairly modest. Personally, if you can find a leftover 2025 model discounted by a couple of $1,000s, that's probably the smarter purchase. Would I still choose the Triumph over a Street Bob? Yes, for one specific reason: running costs. The Bonneville Twin, with its 10,000-mile service intervals, is simply less expensive to own over the long term than a traditional large-displacement V-twin. Resale values have also remained stronger than many people expected. The Speedmaster competes directly with Harley Davidson on styling, on price, and on comfort. The one thing it doesn't really compete on is sound. If you enjoy motorcycle breakdowns that explain what the specifications actually feel like on the road, don't forget to subscribe, because the final two motorcycles on this list make the conversation genuinely uncomfortable for Milwaukee. Number 2. Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650. Buying your first proper cruiser has always come with the same problem. Anything with genuine road presence, a low seat, a long wheelbase, and a wide front tire usually starts around $10,000 and only gets more expensive from there. The Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650 changes that. It starts at $7,899, and somehow, it never feels like a beginner's motorcycle. That's the part most people don't understand until they stand next to one. A 62-inch wheelbase, a 19-inch front wheel, and upside-down Showa front forks. A first for Royal Enfield. Even parked beside motorcycles costing twice as much. It still looks like a premium machine. Power comes from Royal Enfield's 648cc parallel twin. It produces around 47 horsepower. So what does that actually mean on the road? Cruising at 75 miles an hour. Feels completely relaxed. You can hold that speed all day. 85 miles an hour is there if you need it. 95. That's where the motorcycle starts telling you it's had enough. You feel it through the handlebars for back road rides, coffee stops, and a relaxed 300-mile weekend trip. You'll probably never notice that limitation, but if you live somewhere like Texas, where traffic often cruises at 85 miles an hour, you absolutely will. That's the honest compromise. And no amount of enthusiasm changes it. One thing that genuinely surprises me is the used market. Clean Super Meteor 6. 50 examples continue to hold their value remarkably well. Demand still exceeds supply in many areas. Spend a little time on owner forums and you'll keep seeing the same comment. People bought one expecting to trade up after a year or two, then discovered they simply didn't want to. Compare it with a Harley Davidson Nightster costing roughly $2,100 more, and the Nightster clearly wins on outright performance, no question. But the Super Meteor wins on purchase price, warranty, insurance costs, and long-term ownership expenses. More importantly, it proved that a cruiser doesn't have to be expensive to feel like a serious motorcycle. Number 1. Honda Rebel 1100. Here's the number that should keep Harley Davidson executives awake. There is now a cruiser on sale in America that undercuts Harley Davidson's least expensive model by roughly $300, produces comparable power, and can even be ordered with an automatic transmission. The standard Honda Rebel 1100 starts at $9,699. The dual-clutch transmission version starts at $10,399. Power comes from a 1,084cc parallel twin borrowed from the Africa Twin, then retuned specifically for cruiser duty. And the character of that engine surprises almost everyone who rides it. It isn't bland, it isn't lifeless. Thanks to its 370-degree crankshaft, it delivers a deep, satisfying pulse that gives the motorcycle genuine personality. It sounds alive. It feels alive. And that's not something people always expect from Honda. The equipment list is equally impressive. Cruise control comes as standard, along with selectable ride modes, traction control, and wheelie control. Then there's the automatic transmission. For years, I wasn't convinced. I thought it was unnecessary. I was wrong. Ride through stop-and-go traffic, in 90-degree summer heat, wearing full riding gear, without touching a clutch lever once, and it completely changes how you think about commuting. Talk to riders who've had knee replacements or wrist injuries, and many describe Honda's DCT as the technology that gave them another decade of motorcycling. Now for the drawback. The standard seat is simply too thin. After about 2 hours, you'll be shifting around trying to get comfortable. Personally, I'd set aside roughly $400 for a quality aftermarket saddle and consider it part of the purchase price. Compare the Rebel 1100 with a Harley Davidson Nightster starting at around $9,999. The Honda costs less, weighs less, uses less fuel, and has a reliability record that's almost boring in the very best possible way. That's exactly why it finishes at number 1. Not because it's more exciting than a Harley Davidson, but because it quietly removes almost every practical reason someone might have for not buying a cruiser. So, the machine-beating Harley in 2026 wears a Honda badge and it isn't close on paper or in the driveway. If I were spending my own money tomorrow, it's the Rebel 1100 with the automatic seat swapped on day one. Harley still owns the sound, the presence, and that feeling of parking outside a diner. Just know exactly what you're paying for it. Which of these 6 is going in your garage? Tell me below, and subscribe for the used market breakdown next.